How does a rapper who once ruled the charts with a global hit go from collaborating with Justin Bieber and Nicki Minaj to serving years behind bars in a federal prison? Sean Kingston's story is one of fame, luxury, deception, and an eventual downfall that shocked fans around the world. And the truth behind his fraud case is stranger and more unbelievable than anyone expected. In 2007, Sean Kingston exploded onto the music scene with his debut single, Beautiful Girls. At just 17 years old, he was on top of the world. His song hit #1 on the Billboard Hot 100, becoming an instant summer anthem and a track that would define his career. With his smooth blend of reggae, hip-hop, and pop, Kingston was seen as the next big star. His collaborations only solidified his status, teaming up with Wyclef Jean, working with Nicki Minaj, and most notably, striking up a close friendship and musical partnership with Justin Bieber. For a teenager, it was the dream life. Chart-topping hits, sold-out concerts, red carpet appearances, and millions of fans. But behind all the bright lights and smiles, things weren't as perfect as they seemed. Money was flowing in. Yes, but not enough to sustain the image Kingston wanted to project. And that's where the trouble began. Because while Kingston had fame, he didn't always have the finances to match the lifestyle he was chasing. According to federal prosecutors, Kingston began using his celebrity status as a weapon. Instead of money, his fame became the currency he traded with. He approached sellers of high-end goods, people who believed that working with a celebrity could be good for business. The list of items he managed to obtain is jaw-dropping. A bulletproof Cadillac Escalade, luxury watches, jewelry, and even a massive 232-inch LED television with a state-of-the-art sound system. These weren't ordinary purchases. These were items that screamed wealth, exclusivity, and status. But there was one problem. Kingston wasn't paying for them. Instead, he would send phony wire transfers, tricking victims into believing payment had been made. Sellers assumed that someone like Sean Kingston was good for the money. After all, this was a chart-topping artist with millions of followers on social media. The scam worked because of his name, because people trusted the celebrity image, not realizing it was a carefully constructed facade. And what made the scheme even more shocking was who helped him carry it out. This wasn't just Sean Kingston acting alone. Prosecutors revealed that his own mother, Janice Turner, played an active role in the fraud. At 62 years old, she wasn't just watching from the sidelines. She was participating in the deception. Together, Kingston and Turner used his fame and her assistance to target victims. Investigators said they worked as a team, convincing people to hand over luxury goods with promises that would never be fulfilled. Fake payments, unkept promises, and lies backed by celebrity influence formed the heart of their operation. Eventually, the two were charged and brought to trial. And the jury didn't take long to reach a verdict. Both Kingston and his mother were found guilty of 5 federal counts, including wire fraud and conspiracy to commit wire fraud. But before the courtroom drama reached its conclusion, their lives took a dramatic turn with a scene straight out of a Hollywood movie. In May 2024, Kingston's Florida mansion became the center of a full-scale SWAT operation. Heavily armed officers stormed the home in Broward County, raiding the property as part of the fraud investigation. Inside, they found and arrested his mother on the spot. Kingston himself wasn't home that day. He was in Southern California, performing at Fort Irwin, a U.S. Army training base in the Mojave Desert. But he didn't escape the law. Authorities tracked him down and arrested him while he was still on tour. For fans, the news was surreal. One day, Kingston was on stage entertaining troops, and the next, headlines announced he was facing decades in federal prison. But what really stunned people wasn't just the fraud or even the SWAT raid. It was a strange promise Kingston made that tied one of the biggest pop stars in the world into the case. One of the most bizarre twists in Kingston's fraud saga came through a lawsuit involving Ver Entertainment, a company that installs luxury home entertainment systems. According to the lawsuit, Kingston agreed to pay for a $115,000 entertainment system, which included that enormous 232-inch television and a robust sound system. But to lower the upfront cost, Kingston made an unusual offer. He promised to leverage his close relationship with Justin Bieber. The deal? Bieber would film promotional videos for the company, giving them exposure and credibility that money couldn't buy. In exchange, Kingston would pay less cash up front. But the videos never happened. Bieber wasn't involved, and the company quickly realized they had been deceived. Kingston only paid $30,000 of the $115,000 he owed. The lawsuit accused him of fraud and breach of contract, adding yet another layer to his legal troubles. This wasn't just about unpaid bills anymore. It was about using other celebrities' names and reputations as bargaining chips in a game Kingston couldn't sustain. By the time his case reached sentencing, the image prosecutors painted of him was devastating. When Kingston finally stood before a federal judge in Fort Lauderdale, the stakes couldn't have been higher. Each of the 5 counts carried a potential sentence of up to 20 years. His lawyer argued that the crimes were nonviolent and deserved leniency. They asked for home confinement, stressing that Kingston was deeply remorseful and had already repaid much of the restitution. But the prosecution told a very different story. Assistant U.S. Attorney Mark Anton described Kingston as addicted to a lifestyle he couldn't afford, someone who doesn't like to pay and relies on his celebrity status to defraud his victims. He called Kingston a thief and a con man, plain and simple. After a tense 70-minute hearing, the judge handed down the sentence: 3.5 years in federal prison. His mother, Janice Turner, received 5 years, though she has since appealed. For Kingston, it was a crushing moment. The man who once topped charts and traveled the world was now facing years behind bars. He apologized in court, promising to take it as a learning experience and to one day move forward in a positive direction. But no matter what he said, the damage had already been done. The fallout from Kingston's conviction is enormous. While some of the restitution has already been repaid, the stain on his reputation is far harder to erase. Once celebrated for his unique sound and catchy hits, he's now tied to words like fraud, scam, and con artist. His mother's conviction only deepens the story, turning what could have been seen as a mistake into a family-run scheme. Fans who grew up listening to his music are left questioning how a beloved artist could throw it all away. And for Kingston himself, the road back to respect and to music will be long and uncertain. From a teenage superstar with a #1 hit to a convicted fraudster serving time in prison, Sean Kingston's story is a reminder that fame doesn't guarantee security, and that a life built on image without substance can collapse overnight. The world has seen his rise, his fall, and now his punishment. The only question left is whether Sean Kingston can ever rebuild what he's lost, or if the world has heard the last of him.